people engaged, it's time for Dueling Decades. The Matrix and Blade versus Bloodsport and Renegade. Strap on that cap, bust out the power glove. Come fight for what you love.
Dueling Decades.
Poop culture, popping pins, dropping hand grenades. Van Halen locked in Mortal Kombat with David Gray. Banner Ballet and Sick, Iron Maiden, GNR. Come fight for what you love.
Dueling Decades.
All right, so Mark's up at this point 3-1. So two things can happen here. Somebody else can win this round and we have a tie, which has never happened. Or Mark wins the round and he just fucking obliterated you guys. So let's see how this plays out. But Mark, you have control of the board. Obviously, there's only one thing left, and this is the second week in a row that you finished up with music.
All right. So for my first one, we're going to DuckTales for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Released September 14th, 1989. For an early game, this soundtrack was monumental. Nintendo Power would list DuckTales as the 13th best Nintendo Entertainment System game in 2008 and the 44th game all time out of its 285 greatest games of all time. Creative director of DuckTales, that doesn't make sense. Creative director Matt Boland of DuckTales called the music production some of the best 8-bit music he has ever heard. Polygon cites the music from the Moon theme as the most famous piece of music from the title, and calling it the most perfect piece of 8-bit music ever written. The Moon theme was used in the 2017 animated series Reboot, so it still lives on. So the Moon theme from DuckTales for the NES Entertainment System. That's my first one.
Just to clarify, so this is not a soundtrack. You're just talking about the theme, the video game?
It's the release of the game itself. It was released as a soundtrack. Matter of fact, it was one of the first, not the first, one of the first few soundtracks that were released from a game. That's how popular it was. But it's the release of the game, all the music on that, the big standout being the Moon theme.
And how's that go?
Honestly, I can't hum it, but I listened to it today. I never played DuckTales, but I listened to the Moon theme, and I'm like, oh, I know this. I've heard it before. So,
all right. You're going to have to drop that in because I don't know how that fucking goes.
All right, my second selection. All right, my second selection dates back to 1861.
Christ again.
When Russian poet Nikolai Nekrovsky, when he wrote a poem named Kobylinski, which is the Russian translation for the word peddlers. Upon reading the poem, one only needs to feel the building tempo and signature style to know why it was eventually transformed into a popular Russian toe-tapping folk song. All right, so now let's fast forward 128 years. In 1989, Herzaku Tanaka remade the song for the Nintendo Game Boy version of Tetris, released in November. From there, the Type A theme firmly cemented itself as one of the most recognizable tracks in all of gaming history. Over the years, the Tetris Type A theme has been in numerous variations of the game, including, of course, the one Bo mentioned, Super Smash Brothers. So the Tetris Type A theme from 1989. Do 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 do. Yeah, if you go on YouTube, you can actually look up the poem. It's amazing. Yeah, you gotta go with the Tetris.
Probably won't do that, but I'll thank you for doing the tune. I like that. Extra points. If you sing it or do the tune, you'll get extra points. Just throwing that out there.
Tell this before the guy who can actually sing can go. Fuck.
All right, we'll let him go last. All right, Mike.
All right. The Double Dragon soundtrack was released in '94 and features Coolio's I Remember, which I don't remember.
All right, so Mike will not be rapping Coolio.
No. All right, so that's my first pick. Honestly, that soundtrack's horrible, but there really wasn't much else. I didn't want to pick like something you couldn't purchase. So I went with like movie soundtracks. My next pick is the Street Fighter soundtrack. Was released on December 6th, 1994 by Priority Records, featuring artists like MC Hammer, LL Cool J, Farside, Nas, Ice Cube, and Craig Mack. The album peaked at number 135 on the Billboard 200 and number 34 on the R&B and hip hop charts. The album sold over 500,000 copies in the US and had its only single, Something Kind of Funky by Rally Rowell, make it to number 39 on the Hot Rap Singles. So yeah.
Those are some big names though for a game soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it was a movie
Yeah.
soundtrack for a game.
Yeah, it's a movie
Okay.
soundtrack, but yeah, it's a pretty hip hop centric album. I mean, and you have, I think Razkaz is on there, so that's a bit of a deep cut right there.
Okay. You don't have any of the tracks from the first album you dropped?
It's mostly garbage. It's not even worth talking about.
The band or
What, from Double Dragon?
Garbage the band or just
No,
garbage
no,
in general?
No, just horrible.
Shirley
Okay, so
Manson.
it's just trash.
Just terrible.
It's mostly hip hop. You said, Mike. You get extra points if you drop a couple of bars.
Oh, that's oh man.
Does not want the points. Okay. Bo,
Not that
wrap it up.
bad.
Oh, this was a tough one for me. There was a clear-cut winner for me, just because I had such a strong connection to this game. But I'm not going to start with that one. I'm actually going to start with, for music, 1999. One of the biggest juggernauts of a video game was released. What was the date of that? November 22nd, 1999, and that is Donkey Kong 64, which was one of the Nintendo 64's best-selling games. $22 million marketing campaign budget that included a 60-second commercial, played at over 10,000 movie theaters during the holiday season. This was also on billboards and print, over radio, all kinds of shit. But one of the biggest things to come out of Donkey Kong 64 is the DK rap,
Oh yeah, do it.
which opened up
beat.
the game. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave that for Mike to cut in post. He's going to add that in. I will offer an excerpt from the from the DK rap, though.
Ooh.
He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail. His coconut gun, which means his dick, can fire in spurts. If he shoots you, it's gonna hurt. He's bigger, faster, and stronger too. He's the first member of the DK crew.
And Walker's
Fresh.
told him he has AIDS.
Pretty fantastic shit. So, like, this is almost, it's like Rickroll caliber cult following, the DK rap is. Like, it's so bad it's good. Like, it's meme worthy at this point, and I'm surprised it's not being used in more memes or anything like that.
Like Parappa the Rap-A-Bad?
Right up there. Yeah, comparable.
Nice.
Probably in the same breath for sure.
So bad it's good.
Yeah, you could probably go that route. I think that's fair. But the second pick that I'm going to go with for a couple of different reasons, not only because of its soundtrack, but the unlockable characters that were included in this franchise throughout its years. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yep. Game was released in 1999. It was the first in like a series. I think the last one they made was 2015, but Tony Hawk announced last year, and I think actually released like a different, like new era or something like that. But another one of those franchises that really had some legs underneath it. And the soundtrack, I always remember, like, it introduced me to like punk music, and some different types of music that I really wasn't aware of before. But you had a soundtrack that included Superman by Goldfinger, which is like a standard for me now. Like, if I go anywhere and somebody plays that song, I'm always impressed. Primus, Jerry Was a Race Car Driver, included on there as well. You had stuff from Suicidal Tendencies, Dead Kennedys. But later on, as the game continued to grow and stuff, you'd have these unlockable characters. And a lot of these were actually musicians. So some of the unlockable characters that appeared throughout the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater franchise, Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. Who else was in there? Well, Darth Maul's not a musician, but he made an appearance in there. Eddie the Head, who is Iron Maiden's mascot, was an unlockable character in the Tony Hawk franchise. Who else do we have? Grim Ripper from Guitar Hero, which of course Activision made that, so there was some crossover there. They were allowed to do that. Who else do we have? Judy Nails, another one from Guitar Hero. MCA from the Beastie Boys was included in one of these games.
Now, which one of them were introduced in the 1999 game?
I don't remember for sure. I'm going through the franchise, though.
If anything, I would think it's Billy Joe, but it could be.
It may not have been. It may not have been in the 1999 version. They may not have done it in the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but throughout the franchise history, you had a lot of these guys and a lot of the Jackass characters too, for some reason, which I suppose Tony Hawk's friendship
that kind of ties,
which
in.
makes sense. But yeah, so that's what I'm going with. At least the soundtrack, I can hang my hat on that too because it had a really good soundtrack. But those are my picks. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
That soundtrack's from '99, though, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
1999.
Yeah. That. What's the Dead Kennedy song that's on that soundtrack?
Police Truck. I think was the one that was
Police Truck. Fuck yeah. Okay. I hate to do this, Mike, but I'm gonna have to eliminate a 94 right now. I don't even. But I mean, both your picks make sense, but I think only one of them really stands up, and the other one just sounds like I don't even know who the fuck was on it. You don't even know who was on it for.
Well, Coolio
was that Double Dragon?
Coolio was there.
Yeah, Coolio wins by
just
default.
made my point. All right, so I have to eliminate that one off the bat. So 94 cannot take this tournament. So it's going to be between 89 and 99. Mark, both of yours kind of bored me. I'll be honest. You couldn't do the first jingle for me, and the second jingle from Tetris. I always put that fucking game on mute when I played it on my Game Boy. So I'm gonna have to go with Tony Hawk. I remember playing that back then, and it was an amazing game. And I never knew what the point of the game was. All I do was try. Yeah, it was fun. Like you just try to do tricks. I didn't even care about score. I just try to like do crazy shit. But it was kind of the same way that Grand Theft Auto was. I never played that either. I just wanted to kill everybody and steal cars, and then fuck bitches later on.
How long can you last with 5 stars?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I used to do. Who cares about score? Same thing with Tony Hawk. So this is what I'm going to ask you guys. We're coming down right now. It's 3-3. Tell me why your year should win over the other year, and I'll make a decision on that.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with franchise longevity alone. I mean, you look at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. You debuted in '99. You go to 2015, and now you're just kind of rebooting the whole franchise. Like that's longevity. And then you look at Donkey Kong, who's been around since essentially the creation of video games. It seems like from arcade-based consoles. All the way up to platforms now like Nintendo Switch and all the Nintendo's properties and stuff like that. So I think just based on longevity of the franchise and staying power alone, those are two really solid legs to stand on.
Do you think that your Dreamcast, like the online availability for the Dreamcast, made the other ones go in that direction also?
Oh, we're talking like all the picks combined?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, that was obviously a catalyst for, it was obviously kind of a testing ground for, will this work? And is this the future of video games? Is this what players want? So incorporating those features, the online gameplay, the downloadable content, which is obviously massive now. You have all these add-on expansion packs that you can download from the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store, whatever you want to call them. Obviously the online chat feature. I don't know anybody that does an online game and not really utilize the chat feature, the voice chat feature. May not be for everyone, but that's really where a lot of the, just the enjoyment of playing, like if I were to jump on with you four guys right now, we could talk while we're playing the game. that adds a whole new element to gameplay, a whole new fun
Whoa.
factor to it as well.
Are you meaning we could play games while we're sitting here doing this?
I mean, we haven't done it before, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility, thanks to the Dreamcast. So I think Dreamcast maybe not the necessarily the grandfather, the end all be all, or the pioneer of that, but certainly dipping the toe in the water, and that obviously led to the evolution of gaming as we know it today.
All right. What about 89? Why would 89 take it over 99?
All right. Well, I'm going to turn this around and kind of use some points that Bo just brought up and some keywords: pioneer and evolution. 1989 was a pinnacle year for gaming because the gaming industry from the 70s had a tremendous decline. And then in the beginning of the 80s, 85, 86, started to come back. And they were starting to see it build. So what do the video game industry do? What does Nintendo do? What does Sega do? They double down. They introduce new systems. The handheld market gets born. And then with the release of the Sega Genesis, kind of launching video games into what we would see it become years down the line. And I don't think any of that would have happened if they didn't have the competition between the two kind of pushing each other forward. So that's why I think 89, as far as video game wise, really pinnacle year for the product.
All right. I made my decision. I am going to go with 1989. And you pretty much put it where I was going to go. I think what Bo was saying about the Dreamcast probably would have never happened if the 89. And then they put out some bullshit in between. But like Mike said, they were always ahead of their time. So in 89, the competition thing is big too. Just like we've said it before with WWE and WCW, you take one out of the equation and the product goes to shit. So who knows if Nintendo would have, because they basically had a mini monopoly going on at the time. So who knows how that might have shaken out if they didn't have the Genesis to come up in 89. So yeah, I have to go with 1989, pulling it out, squeaker.
Whoa, I can't believe I pulled that one out, man. When Mike jumped into this at the last minute, I had a small anxiety attack. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought I was fucked with a capital F. Wow, man. Excellent game, guys. Thanks a lot for playing in this one. And for the listeners at home, if you're a big fan of Dueling Decades, we have some exciting news coming up in the next few months that we're going to let you in on, and more content coming your way. Now, if you notice, this was a match tonight in our singles division. Normally our matches are in our tag team division, where I'm teamed up with Man Crush, and where the Mama Lukes, and Mike Ranger is teamed up, of course, with Bo Beecraft. And they are the the after school special. So now we have a singles division, and we're going to have a singles champion. So
I'm coming for the silver. Yeah.
They're coming for the silver.
Gold is a little too high caliber for me.
That's
I think it was a good job by you guys.
This did a horrible job.
It's
I
tough
fucking forgot
with,
the rating system.
Well, at least I let you know about it.
Well,
did you even mention that Alyssa Milano thing?
He did.
Oh, okay.
She was in the movie?
Yeah.
With her bodacious cans.
Bodacious.
It was still a pile of shit, though. So
Not even Alyssa Milano's tits could save this.
Actually, he won that round.
All right, well, maybe that's why he won, just for the Alyssa Milano factor.
Maybe Alyssa Milano's tits could save this.
All right, so to wrap it up, I am extremely excited that I finally have a win in the singles division. Coming soon, you're going to see a championship match. And if you want to subscribe to our show, you can always head over to duelingdecades.com or subscribe anywhere podcasts are found, on iTunes, and, of course, on our good friends over at CastBox. So until next time, Retro Warriors, we're going to bid you a peace, love, light, and a joy. Have a grateful day, everybody.
Dueling Decades.